We've all said it, right? Or definitely heard it. Oh, I'm just stressed. It's almost become this like default response,
Mm.
this sort of casual shorthand when we feel a bit overwhelmed. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just normal, part of modern life we just have to, deal with.
Yeah, grit our teeth and get through it.
Exactly. But when you really start digging into it, looking at the research, the experiences people share, stress is way, way more than just some casual word.
Oh, absolutely. It has really significant profound effects on our physical health, our mental well-being,
Relationships, too.
definitely relationships,
Yeah.
and just our general ability to, function and feel okay day to day.
The material we pulled together for this deep dive, it really hammers home just how pervasive it is, how much it impacts people.
For sure. You see stats and reports showing huge numbers of people struggling. It affects their sleep, their focus, their overall quality of life. It's not just a bad mood.
Right.
Chronic stress, it's linked to some really serious health stuff. Increased risk of obesity, metabolic syndrome, heart problems, even messing with your immune system.
And like you said, it doesn't just stay with one person. It ripples out, doesn't it? Affects friends, family.
Massively, especially those closest to them.
And that's really the heart of what we're getting into today, isn't it? Because the odds are really high that someone you care about, maybe deeply, is dealing with serious stress right now, or they will be at some point.
It's almost inevitable, unfortunately.
And when that happens, our first thought is usually, I want to help, but then how? Like, how do you actually offer support that helps, that's effective, and crucially, doesn't accidentally make things worse?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We've got this stack of sources, insights from health psychology, clinical perspectives, personal stories, practical guides from mental health organizations, and we're going to unpack the practical stuff, the knowledge you actually need to support a friend who's really going through it with stress or maybe something more.
Yeah, it's about moving beyond just, meaning well, but maybe not quite hitting the mark. It's about equipping you, the listener, with specific skills, real understanding, all based on what we're seeing in this material. We'll look at recognizing the signs, how to talk in a way that actually builds trust.
Connection.
Exactly. What tends to work, what can actually hurt. And this is key, how you do all this while looking after yourself, too.
Because supporting someone isn't always obvious, is it? Especially when they're really distressed.
Not at all. So hopefully this deep dive gives you a clearer roadmap, informed by psychological insights and those really valuable lived experiences in the sources.
Okay, let's dive in then. When we talk about helping a friend who's struggling, the very first step has to be, noticing they are struggling.
Right, spotting it.
How do you even tell if it's just a rough day? We all have those, or if it's something, deeper, more persistent?
Yeah, because stress, emotional struggles, they show up in so many ways. And sometimes they're really subtle. Or even counterintuitive.
Which is where being a friend comes in, right? You have that unique perspective.
Exactly. You have a baseline. You know this person. You know their usual energy, their typical mood, how they usually act. So paying attention to changes, shifts away from their normal, even small ones, that's absolutely crucial. The sources we looked at point to a few key areas where you might notice these kinds of shifts.
And the first big one seems to be changes in their behavior. What sort of things are we talking about there?
Well, this can look like a lot of different things. One common sign is losing interest in stuff they used to genuinely love. Maybe they were always up for that weekly run, or game night was their thing, or they poured hours into a hobby. And suddenly they're just not. They're making excuses, saying no more often.
Yeah, that loss of interest, that anhedonia, that's a big flag. And often connected to that is isolation, right?
Exactly. They might start pulling away, isolating themselves, less social interaction.
So not returning texts or calls as quickly or at all.
Yeah, or canceling plans last minute, avoiding gatherings. It's not always because they don't want to see you. Sometimes it's just feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, or like they'd be a burden.
That makes sense. What about sleep? Stress definitely messes with sleep.
Oh, hugely. It's often one of the first things to go haywire. Big changes in sleep patterns.
Like sleeping way more.
Could be. Sleeping a lot more than usual. Maybe crashing all weekend but still seeming exhausted. That suggests the sleep isn't really restorative.
Or the opposite, insomnia.
Right. Trouble falling asleep, staying asleep. And tied to this, you might see their productivity dip. At work, school, or even just managing daily stuff chores. Schedule things they normally handle fine.
Okay. And eating habits, another one.
Yep. Significant changes there are often linked to stress, too. Could be losing their appetite completely, maybe noticeable weight loss.
Or the opposite again, comfort eating.
Exactly. Increased emotional eating, eating a lot more than usual, sometimes leading to weight gain.
Yeah.
It's not usually conscious dieting. It's how stress messes with appetite and coping. The sources also mention more concerning shifts, like increased substance use alcohol, drugs maybe as a way to cope or numb out, or even seeing impaired judgment, maybe acting less inhibited than they normally would. That can be a sign they're struggling to regulate or cope.
Okay, so behavior covers a lot. What about changes in how they look, physical appearance?
Yeah, this could be a bit more subtle sometimes, but still important if you see them regularly. Maybe neglecting basic hygiene or self-care.
Like not showering as much or wearing the same clothes.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just generally looking less put together than usual for them. And simply looking tired or sad a lot of the time.
That persistent fatigue look.
Right, dark circles, or just a general expression of sadness that doesn't seem to lift. And as we mentioned with eating, dramatic weight changes, loss, or gain can be outward signs of that inner struggle.
Okay, so behavior appearance.
Yeah.
Then definitely changes in mood.
Absolutely. And we're not just talking about a bad day because, they missed the bus.
Right.
It's more about a persistent difficulty coping with everyday stuff. Things they used to manage okay now feel overwhelming. They might worry constantly, stress out, way more than seems typical for the situation.
Or really overreacting to small things.
Exactly. Getting irritated easily, snapping, maybe showing more anger or aggression than usual. Or, on the flip side, just this persistent feeling of sadness, hopelessness, like a cloud hanging over them that won't go away. These aren't just fleeting feelings, they're prolonged states affecting their life.
The sources also really emphasize listening to what they actually say, the verbal cues. What should we tune into there?
This is really key, and sometimes it can be pretty confronting. Pay close attention to negative self-talk.
Like beating themselves up.
Yeah. Phrases like, I'm totally worthless, I mess up everything, or even darker things like, everyone will be better off without me. These are more than just complaints. They signal real pain.
And expressions of hopelessness. Those sound particularly worrying.
They really are. Things like, what's the point? It's never going to get better. Or even, I wish I could just disappear.
Wow.
Also, listen for statements about failure or feeling like a burden. I've let everyone down. I'm such a failure. I'm just dragging everyone down. And the sources also point out frequent physical complaints that don't seem to have a clear medical reason.
So like headaches, feeling sick all the time.
Exactly. Saying, I don't feel well constantly. Chronic headaches, unexplained exhaustion even with rest, stomach problems. It's often the body reacting to overwhelming stress or psychological pain.
And constantly putting themselves down about their appearance, weight, looks.
Yeah, that fits the pattern of negative self-perception too. And it's not just face-to-face stuff. Our online lives can show warning signs too.
Right, social media.
The sources say look for things like posting really self-deprecating comments. I hate myself. I suck at everything.
Or sharing really dark stuff, like quotes or poems about despair.
Yeah. Or disturbing images or media. Using unusual hashtags that hint at distress, like hashtag over it, hashtag imdone, hashtag wish you could sleep forever. Even just a sudden shift to using sad or destructive emojis all the time can be a subtle flag.
That's a really wide range of signs. Behavior, appearance, mood, what they say, what they post. But the sources also make a key point. These signs can be tricky.
Oh, absolutely. For one thing, these changes often happen slowly, gradually.
Like the frog in boiling water idea.
Exactly. You might not notice how serious it's become until it's quite pronounced, just because you've kind of adjusted to the small shifts along the way. And another big thing the sources stress is that signs can be, well, counterintuitive. What looks like anger might actually be depression for that person.
Or someone isolating might actually be dealing with intense anxiety.
Precisely. Or withdrawing from everything could be linked to an eating disorder or just sheer exhaustion from chronic stress. The point isn't for you to diagnose your friend. That's not your job.
Yeah.
But it is important to be open to the possibility that things aren't always textbook, that struggles can look different in different people. It helps you see that maybe something deeper is going on.
So with all these potential signs, some subtle, some confusing, what's the main takeaway for noticing if a friend needs support?
It really boils down to trusting your gut, your instinct. As a friend, you have the unique baseline knowledge we talked about. If you have that nagging feeling something's off, if you're worried beyond just a passing thought, the sources really emphasize trusting that feeling. It's okay to take the risk, gently and honestly express your concern.
You're not accusing them or diagnosing.
Not at all. You're
Okay.
just saying, hey, I've noticed you seem a bit different lately, or I've been worried about you. Is everything okay? You're just letting them know you see them and you care. These signs matter, especially if they stick around. Your noticing could be the first vital step.
Okay, so let's say you've noticed something, trusted your gut, reached out. Now comes the really crucial part, listening.
Yeah.
But the sources say it's way more than just hearing them, right?
Oh, much, much more. The material consistently points to active, empathic listening as maybe the most fundamental skill here.
Active and empathic, what does that really mean in practice?
It means consciously trying to understand their experience from their point of view, not just feeling sorry for them.
Right.
It's about creating a safe space where they feel they can share, listening without judging, and accepting their feelings as valid for them, even if you don't fully get it, or you'd react differently.
And there's actually a biological reason why this helps, isn't there? Something about oxytocin.
Yeah, it's fascinating. When we really engage in empathy, both giving and receiving it, our brains release oxytocin.
The bonding hormone.
Exactly. It builds trust, cooperation, connection. So feeling truly heard and understood isn't just psychologically nice, it actually changes our brain chemistry in a positive way, reduces that feeling of isolation.
That makes so much sense. It's not just an idea, it creates a real connection. So what does this kind of listening actually look like? What are the practical tips?
Okay, first big one. Give them time to open up. You can't push someone.
Right.
Let them know you're there, ready to listen when and if they want to talk. And maybe that offer isn't taken up right away. That's fine.
So maybe gently remind them later.
Yeah, maybe when you're doing something relaxed together. Let them know the offer still stands. Some people need time to process, or they worry about burdening you.
Especially if they're usually the strong one.
Exactly. Offering that space in a low-pressure way, maybe on a walk, side by side, or even over text, if that feels easier for them, can help. But always respect their boundaries. You're opening a door, not shoving them through it.
And this next one is tough, but so important. Try not to interrupt.
Oh, it's so tempting. You hear something, you want to jump in with reassurance or advice or, oh, that happened to me too.
Yeah, you mean well.
Of course.
Yeah.
But interrupting can feel really frustrating to the person sharing. Like you're rushing them or you don't think they're coping right. Patience is key.
So just let them finish.
Let them finish their thought. Show you're listening with little nods, maybe soft ahas or okay, and minimize distractions. Quiet space, phone away. Give them your full attention.
The sources also mention matching their pace and tone. What's that about?
It's a subtle thing, but it builds connection. If your friend is talking really slowly, quietly, low energy because they're down, and you come in all super upbeat and fast-paced, it can feel jarring. Creates a disconnect.
So kind of mirror them a bit.
Sort of. Slow down your own pace, match their general tone. It shows you're tuned in to where they are emotionally, makes them feel less alone in it.
Okay. And validating their emotions. This seems absolutely essential.
This is probably the heart of empathy in action. Accepting their feelings as real and valid for them. Even if you don't agree with their viewpoint or think their reaction is, over the top.
So you don't have to agree with why they feel that way.
Exactly. But you validate the feeling itself. The sources give good examples. Instead of saying, stop worrying, the doctor said you're fine, which dismisses their current anxiety.
Right.
Try something like, I'm so sorry you're going through this. It sounds really tough, and it's totally understandable you feel anxious right now. See the difference?
Yeah, it acknowledges the feeling.
It does. And then maybe follow up with, is there anything practical I could do to help today?
Body language comes up too, theirs and yours.
Huge. So much communication is nonverbal. Stress can make someone seem closed off, avoiding eye contact, arms crossed, frowning.
Even when they need connection.
Exactly. So pay attention to their body language, facial expressions, posture, gestures to get a better read on their feelings. And just as importantly, be mindful of your own.
So try to seem open.
Yeah. Relaxed posture, maybe lean in slightly, nod, avoid crossing your arms. Project calmness and openness.
What about eye contact? The sources said it's tricky.
Yeah, it's nuanced. Eye contact shows engagement, but too much constant direct eye contact can feel intense or confrontational, especially if someone's feeling vulnerable or anxious.
So it's okay to look away sometimes.
Definitely. Break it gently, look away briefly, then re-engage. And some people find talking about hard stuff easier side by side, like on that walk we mentioned, rather than face-to-face intense conversation.
That makes sense.
And by consciously using welcoming body language yourself, appropriate eye contact, soft expression, open posture, you help counteract any closed-off signals they might be sending unconsciously. Create safety.
Okay, another technique. Reflecting on what they're saying.
Powerful tool. It checks your understanding and shows them you're really processing it. Briefly summarize or paraphrase what you heard them say.
Not just parroting them back.
No, stay close to their words and feelings, but put it slightly differently. It's not about solving, just showing you're tracking. Like, okay, so it sounds like that whole situation at work left you feeling really drained and frustrated, is that right?
Uh-huh. Gives them the chance to clarify.
Exactly. Or just feel heard. Wow, yeah, you really got that.
And then digging deeper with questions.
Yep. Once they've shared a bit, show genuine interest. Ask relevant, open-ended questions. The sources say avoid why questions usually.
Because they can sound blaming. Why are you so upset?
Right. Better to ask things that explore feelings or experiences. How did that make you feel? What happened next? What did you do then? Or, crucially, what do you think might help you right now? Even a simple "how was your day" is more inviting than "why were you late?"
And this ties back to validation. Avoid snap judgments or assumptions.
Absolutely critical. Don't jump to conclusions about what they need or should do, even if you mean well.
Like assuming they just need to go for a walk when they're exhausted.
That was a great example from the sources.
Yeah.
That assumed help felt critical because it didn't understand the reason for the exhaustion. It can make them feel more isolated.
So always ask.
Always check in. How can I best support you right now? What would feel helpful to you? Empathy means seeing them as complex, not just fitting them into your box or bias.
This is a lot to keep in mind while you're trying to listen. The sources also say don't overthink it.
Yes, that's the balance. Active listening means focusing on them, being present, not getting stuck in your head, crafting the perfect response.
Right.
Don't pressure yourself to be perfect or have all the answers. You're not their therapist. Just being there, listening without judgment, trying your best with these ideas, that's often the most powerful thing. Your presence matters.
And one last point here. Doing a bit of research yourself later on.
Yeah, this can be helpful after the conversation. In your own time, learning a bit about whatever they're facing, anxiety, stress, grief, can deepen your understanding.
Not play doctor.
Definitely not.
No.
But it helps you avoid insensitive suggestions and offer more relevant support because you understand their challenges a bit better.
Okay, this is super helpful on listening. But even with great listening skills, it's so easy to say the wrong thing, isn't it? Things we think are helpful but actually hurt.
It really is. Our instinct is often to fix, solve, cheerlead. But for someone really struggling with anxiety or stress, some common phrases just land badly. The sources call out a few big ones.
Let's go through them. Phrase to avoid, #1. Calm down.
Ugh, the classic. Almost always feels dismissive, maybe even condescending.
Why does it hurt so much?
Because if they could just calm down, they would have. Telling them to implies they're choosing to feel this way or they're overreacting and should control it.
Which makes them feel ashamed.
Ashamed, powerless, misunderstood, and usually even less calm.
So what's the alternative?
Offer non-judgmental support. Focus on your presence, acceptance. Simple stuff. I'm here for you. I'm here to listen if you want to talk, or if they're really distressed, I'll stay with you. Acknowledge the distress, don't demand it stops.
Okay. Phrase to avoid, #2. Be more present, or just live in the moment.
This one's tough for anxious people, especially if they worry about the future a lot.
Anticipatory anxiety.
Right. Asking them to just be present. It's like asking them to switch off the core mechanism of their anxiety instantly. It feels impossible and dismissive.
So instead of demanding presence,
Acknowledge how they feel, then maybe offer practical ways to gently ground them. Ask what's worrying them most right now. Focus there. Offer help with that specific fear.
or a grounding technique.
Yeah, the sources suggest guiding them through one. Okay, let's try this. Tell me 5 things you can see right now. Focusing on the senses, see, hear, smell, touch, taste, pulls awareness into the present supportively.
Not just commanding it.
Exactly. Or maybe a quick visualization. Close your eyes, take a breath, picture a calm place.
Guide them gently.
Phrase to avoid, #3. Quit overthinking, or stop thinking so much.
Same category as calm down.
Yeah.
It implies choice over something complex.
The source had that analogy about diabetes.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell someone with diabetes to quit being thirsty. Anxiety is a condition, not just bad habits. Often people know they're overthinking, and not being able to stop makes them feel worse. So telling them it's not a big deal just invalidates it.
Completely. Invalidates their genuine distress and the struggle to control those thoughts.
So what do you say?
Again, listen, Validate the feeling, offer support without trying to fix their thinking in that moment. I can see this is really hard for you. You're safe right now. I'm here with you through this. Comfort and validation, not dismissal.
Got it. Last one, phrase to avoid, #4. Worrying won't change anything.
Another one from the trying to fix it with logic department. We want to make them feel better by pointing out the worry is unproductive.
But anxiety isn't always logical.
Exactly. Especially when thoughts are catastrophic. Telling them their worry is pointless, even if technically true, invalidates how real and distressing those feelings are to them. Can make them feel even more out of control.
So instead of pointing out the futility,
show understanding, patience, empathy. Validate the feeling, but maybe gently remind them of their strengths or offer practical help.
like the presentation example.
Perfect example. Instead of worrying won't help, say, feeling stressed before a presentation is totally normal. Public speaking is tough, but hey, remember how well you handled that one last month? You put in the work, you can do this.
Acknowledges the feeling, reminds them of capability.
Exactly. Or offer practical help. Want to run through it with me? Or shift focus? Want to grab a coffee and take a break from it for a bit? Or just that simple, let's tackle this together. Presence and support, not logic police.
This is all so helpful for navigating those conversations. Now, let's shift to something really crucial. Taking care of yourself while you're supporting someone.
Yes, absolutely vital. The sources hammer this home. It's that oxygen mask principle.
Put yours on first.
You have to. You simply can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You can't offer sustainable, helpful support if you're depleted, overwhelmed, or struggling badly yourself.
And being that support person is demanding, isn't it?
It really is. It takes time, emotional energy, effort. The sources are clear. It's totally normal to feel a whole mix of things.
Like empathy, sadness.
Sure. But also confusion, maybe guilt like you're not doing enough, or you feel reluctant because it's overwhelming.
Frustration. Anger, even.
Yeah, if things aren't changing or they push back. And definitely exhaustion, emotional, physical. Very common.
And feeling those things doesn't mean you're a bad friend.
Not at all. It means you're human and you're in a challenging situation. But, and this is the crucial part, if those feelings or just the stress of it all start dragging down your own mental health, your well-being, that's a clear sign. A signal you need to step back a bit, prioritize some self-care, and think about boundaries.
There was that personal story in the sources about Rachel that really illustrated this.
Yeah, it's powerful. Rachel was already dealing with her own anxiety and OCD, stressed out, when her friends started leaning on her heavily.
It became too much.
Totally. Taking on her friends' problems felt like her own anxiety got magnified. And she mentioned keeping her friends' secrets really ramped up her own stress.
And her therapist used that great analogy, the wobbly table.
Right. Rachel was like a table with wobbly legs. Strong enough for her own stuff, but add the extra weight of her friend's heavy problem.
And it would break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The therapist said they were working on strengthening her legs, but she wasn't there yet. And that was okay. The key was recognizing her current capacity and being careful not to overload herself.
And the big realization for Rachel, setting boundaries wasn't selfish.
It wasn't being a bad friend. It was necessary self-preservation. Prioritizing her own mental health so she could continue to function and eventually be a better support. The sources echo this. Boundaries aren't abandonment. They're about sustainability and healthy relationships.
So building on that story and the other advice, what are the practical tips for boundaries and self-care?
Okay, first big one. Be realistic about how much you can actually give. Be honest with yourself. How much time? How much emotional energy? What practical help can you offer without totally burning out?
And maybe communicating that gently.
Yeah, being upfront, maybe not in painful detail, but honest about your limits. It stops you feeling resentful later and helps your friends see they need a wider support network, not just you.
And it's okay for that level of support to fluctuate.
Totally. Maybe you can give more during a crisis, but need to pull back when things stabilize or when your own life gets demanding. Being honest about those shifts is important when possible.
And then actually setting the boundaries and sticking to them.
That's the hard part. Knowing your limits and communicating them kindly but clearly, it prevents resentment.
What might that look like?
Could be setting time limits on draining conversations. Could be saying gently, when a specific behavior is worrying you, using I statements. I feel worried when X happens, not you always do Y.
Focusing on the behavior, not blaming the person.
Exactly. And knowing your own triggers is huge, especially if you've dealt with similar stuff. It's okay to say, I find it hard to talk about X in detail right now. Could we focus on Y? or just communicating what you are and aren't comfortable with. And remember, your other responsibilities, family, job, health. Support shouldn't mean sacrificing everything else.
And the massive point, it is not all on you. You don't have to be their only support.
Absolutely non-negotiable. If you're overwhelmed, reach out. Talk to trusted family, mutual friends, other people who care about your friend. Can they share the load? A network is stronger than one person.
And maybe the most important thing for yourself, talk to someone about how you're feeling.
Yes. If the stress of supporting them, or just life in general, is getting to you, get support for yourself. Therapist, counselor, support group, trusted mentor, someone who is not the friend you're supporting.
It's easy to neglect yourself when you're focused on someone else.
So easy. But you have to stay healthy to help anyone. And the sources mentioned, if you've had positive experiences with therapy yourself, sharing that might normalize it for your friend and encourage them too.
That leads perfectly into the next step, knowing when and how to suggest they get professional help.
It does. Now, it's normal to feel down or anxious when things are tough. But if your friend's struggles are persistent, lasting months without much improvement.
Or if they're really having trouble opening up.
Yeah, or if it's seriously impacting their life, work, relationships, daily functioning. Or if you're seeing those really worrying signs we talked about earlier, like hopelessness, severe withdrawal.
Then it might be time.
It might be time to gently suggest they seek professional support.
What's our role here as a friend? We're not therapists.
No. Your goal is to encourage them to open up more broadly. And if needed, gently nudge them towards considering professional help. A therapist, counselor, doctor, someone trained for this.
And what if they're only leaning on you? Every single conversation is about their struggle.
The sources say it's okay, even necessary sometimes, to set a limit there. Encourage them to broaden their support.
And there is some suggested wording for that difficult conversation.
Yeah, something like, look, I'm here for you. I want to support you however I can. But it feels like maybe you're dealing with something bigger than I alone can help with. It might be really important for you to reach out to others too, and maybe explore things like talking to a professional to really start tackling this.
Validates them, but gently redirects.
Exactly. And then offering practical help can make a huge difference.
Like offering to help them make the call or find resources.
Yes. Suggesting therapy can feel daunting. Offer to help them call their doctor, look up local services, research therapists online. Just being there for that first step. And again, sharing your own positive therapy experience, if you have one, can really help demystify it.
And finally, knowing those crisis resources.
It's
essential.
Non-negotiable, potentially life-saving. The sources are really clear. If your friend is in immediate danger, threat of harm to self or others, call emergency services, 911 in the U.S.
And if you're worried but not sure if it's a crisis, or you just need advice on how to help,
you're not alone. Text START to 741-741 for the crisis text line, or call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Free, confidential, 24/7. Trained counselors can give you advice, support you, or help connect your friend to help. Don't hesitate to use them.
Okay, wow. We have covered so much ground today. Recognizing signs, deep dive into listening, what helps, what hurts, self-care, boundaries, suggesting professional help.
It's a lot.
It is. But before we wrap up, there's one last kind of powerful idea from the sources that seems to weave through all of this.
Which is that helping others, it's actually good for the helper too.
Exactly. The material points to research showing that supporting others, engaging in that kind of altruistic behavior, can actually reduce your own stress, boost your well-being.
So it's not just a burden when done right. It can be mutually beneficial.
Right. And maybe even simpler than that, stepping back from all the techniques. The sources really highlight the huge value of just being present.
Yeah. You don't need all the answers. You don't need to fix everything.
Not be a therapist.
Definitely not. Just offering your time, your attention, listening without judgment, letting them know they're not alone. That in itself is incredibly powerful support.
That's such a comforting thought, isn't it? Take some pressure off. It's about connection, kindness, just being a friend, but maybe a friend with a few more tools in the toolkit.
That can make a world of difference. Your willingness to show up really matters.
Okay, let's try and summarize the key takeaways from this deep dive for you, our listener. First, pay attention. Notice those changes in behavior, appearance, mood, communication in your friends. Trust your gut if something feels off.
Then practice that active, empathic listening. Give them space, try not to interrupt, validate their feelings, use open body language, reflect back what you hear, ask open-ended questions.
Know what not to say. Avoid those dismissive phrases like calm down or quit overthinking. They invalidate.
And critically, look after yourself. Set realistic boundaries. Practice self-care. Remember that oxygen mask. You need to be okay to help.
Don't go it alone. Lean on others for support, both for your friend and for you. Get help yourself if you're struggling.
Know when and how to gently suggest professional help if needed, and offer practical support with that step. And know those crisis resources, 988-741-741.
And finally, remember the simple power of connection and kindness. Sometimes just being there, truly present, is the most helpful thing you can do.
Yeah, it's interesting how linked it all is, isn't it? Your ability to support someone else effectively is so tied to your own self-awareness and self-care.
They really are two sides of the same coin, which leads us to our final thought for you to mull over after this. Think about how practicing these skills, really seeing others, listening deeply, communicating carefully, setting those healthy boundaries, prioritizing your own well-being, how that doesn't just make you a better friend.
It builds your own emotional intelligence, resilience.
Exactly. It strengthens your capacity for authentic connection across your whole life.
That ability to truly see someone else's struggle with compassion while also honoring your own limits, maybe that's one of the most powerful forms of connection there is for everyone involved.